She calls to approve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me to join Wisdominds' inauguration event. I'm honored to be here on behalf of the Ontario Co-operative Association. Our mission at OCA is to provide cooperative development, support, training, and education to help cooperatives of all sizes grow and thrive, and to foster a stronger cooperative ecosystem in Ontario where cooperatives work together to meet their goals and aspirations. We are honored to be part of Wisdominds' cooperative journey, and I'm so pleased to be here this evening to share some information about the impact of the Canadian cooperative sector. When we talk about cooperatives in Canada, what are we really referring to? A cooperative is an enterprise that is owned and controlled by the people who use its services. Co-ops in Canada are defined by their members, and they may look very different depending on their purpose. They may be owned by workers looking for autonomy and agency over the way they work, by consumers looking to create access to products and services that they want to buy, or as a means to invest in projects they believe in and earn a return on their investment. Cooperatives can be owned by producers, like farmers or artisans, looking to pool resources, grow their business, and benefit from being part of a larger network. Or cooperatives can be multi-stakeholder, operating in a way that balances the needs of different stakeholders who may have different individual needs, but who share an interest in the success of the co-op. Cooperatives in Canada, just like the 3 million cooperatives operating around the world, exist to benefit their members and are driven by a purpose that is focused on service to their members and their communities above all else. Formal cooperatives in Canada are incorporated entities with established bylaws, rules, and procedures, with elected boards of directors and officers to manage the organization. Formal co-ops in Canada are regulated provincially or federally, and cooperative acts that govern co-ops outline requirements around structure and governance, and were created to ensure co-ops operate in a consistent and cooperative manner. One that's largely defined by the 7 international cooperative principles and values that serve as a foundation for cooperative enterprises around the world. The current system in Canada brings both benefits and challenges. One major issue being that policymakers often lack a deep understanding of the cooperative model, and this can result in overly complex or restrictive regulations that hinder how co-ops function. To address this, provincial and national cooperative associations across Canada are actively advocating on behalf of the sector, working to educate policymakers so that legislation better aligns with the unique needs of cooperative businesses. These regulatory challenges, along with historic and cultural exclusion from the cooperative sector, have often created barriers in cooperative development, particularly among equity-deserving communities, and have led to a strong ecosystem of informal cooperatives. These informal cooperatives may act cooperatively, democratically, and collectively, and in many instances operate just as formalized cooperatives, but without the incorporation. The cooperative sector in Canada has largely excluded informal cooperatives from their recorded history and need to do a better job to recognize the tremendous contributions that informal collectives and cooperatives have made and continue to make to the financial, social, cultural, and environmental well-being of communities in Canada. In Canada, Indigenous communities have a long tradition of working cooperatively, and we see this reflected in examples like governance systems or potlatch ceremonies, as well as in many formal cooperatives, from large-scale co-ops like Arctic Cooperatives Limited to smaller scale cooperatives, serving needs like providing essential services and preserving Indigenous culture and heritage. For generations, Canadian immigrants have turned to cooperative practices, again, both in formal and informal spaces, to build economic stability, preserve cultural ties, and meet community needs that otherwise might go unmet. From Japanese Canadians on the West Coast who built their own systems of healthcare and education, to the proposed development of a Pan-African credit union in Toronto intended to dismantle systemic barriers by providing equitable access to financial services and catalyze sustainable economic empowerment for Ontario's Black communities. When we look at data gathered from the formal sector, Canada has just under 7,000 incorporated cooperatives, with almost 20 million Canadians being members of cooperatives. This is across many different sectors, from agriculture to housing, banking, and retail. Co-ops contribute over $50 billion annually to Canada's GDP. Co-ops provide jobs to more than 200,000 Canadians. And financial cooperatives like credit unions manage hundreds of billions of dollars in assets. Canada also is home to some long-standing and large-scale cooperatives, billion-dollar enterprises that share humble beginnings and have been around, in some cases, more than 100 years. A few examples you may recognize are in the finance and agriculture industries. The first formal credit union in North America actually began in Lévis, Quebec in 1900 with about 100 members. It's known today as the Desjardins Group, and it's the largest financial cooperative in North America with almost 8 million members. Co-operators Insurance started in the 1940s with a small group of farmers who couldn't access insurance for their crops or equipment, so they pooled their money to create their own insurance system for one another. Gailey Foods is a dairy co-op. It's been around for over 65 years, and it began with a group of Ontario farmers who decided to start their own processing plant to overcome challenges with supply chain, market instabilities, access to resources, and to leverage their bargaining power. Today, they are still farmer-owned and run, and they're Ontario's largest dairy cooperative. So why are these examples relevant? What do they have to do with Wisdominds or other smaller co-ops? Well, they all share the same common theme. Cooperatives can look very different, but what unites them is that they're used to build strength in communities. No matter the size, the industry, the location, or who the members are. All cooperatives have the same roots in solidarity, mutual aid, and shared prosperity. And those big co-ops share the same roots and purpose with smaller co-ops operating in communities across Canada, just like Wisdominds. A common purpose in meeting a need, in solving a problem, providing services for themselves that are not being offered by the private or public sector. Small and medium-sized cooperatives operating in communities across Canada represent a diverse range of perspectives and purpose. From housing cooperatives that provide secure and affordable housing to over 250,000 Canadians, to community service cooperatives like the St. Jamestown Community Cooperative, which was created to address food insecurity and works alongside its members to improve their health and well-being, physically, mentally, and culturally for St. Jamestown residents. You'll see cooperative grocery stores, markets, and cooperative networks like the Black Women Professional Co-op, supporting local food and farm producers, as well as co-ops working in technology spaces, home care, child care, music, and the arts. Whether small or large, co-ops provide a framework for people to work together and empower each other, to reach shared goals and aspirations, just like everyone in this room. They foster transparency and accountability in business and create a more human-centered economy. They help people create access to the things they want and need in their communities, things that are important to them, and just like all of you are doing here at Wisdominds Co-operative. In a time of rising inequality and social, political, and environmental upheaval, co-ops offer a viable alternative to extractive ways of doing business by recentering the economy around people, not shareholders. Being part of a cooperative is about more than just sharing in its success. It's about lifting each other up, strengthening the fabric of our communities, and knowing that your voice truly matters. It's about belonging to something bigger than yourself. And that's the true impact of the cooperative movement in Canada. So thank you again for welcoming me to share in the launch of your journey as Wisdominds Cooperative. On behalf of myself and the Ontario Co-operative Association, we wish you every success, and we look forward with excitement to seeing your growth and impact unfold. Thank you.